It's Susan here to tell you about some fantasy and science fiction books you may find of interest. First up is The Air Affair, the first book in the Thursday Next series by Jasper Fforde. And Thursday Next is a special operative in the literary detection division over in England. And this whole series is good for people who like cozy mysteries and also read a lot, which I'm pretty sure is a lot of you out there. It's very funny. It's got a wide appeal, and especially if you, like I said, like a little bit of classic literature in there. Coming up next is Bloodline. As you can see, it is a Star Wars book. It happens about 6 years before The Force Awakens, and it's a Leia-centric story. And I would say I've read not all of the Star Wars books because there's a lot of them. I've read some, and this is one that kind of towers above a lot of them as something that's good as a standalone book for people who are just kind of lightly interested in the series or like the movies better. If you're going to try one Star Wars book, try this one. Also won some awards. And last we have Mike Chen, Here and Now and Then. So, a plot summary. Ken Stewart is a 90s IT guy with a family in the Bay Area who also happened to be a time-traveling secret agent stuck there. Years have gone by in San Francisco, but only a few weeks in his real life. Now he's going to be rescued. Which life and family will he choose? It's a nice mix of fiction and science fiction in Chen's writing here, plus it won a lot of awards. His new one is called We Could Be Heroes. It's a great read for anyone who likes Marvel or DC movies or comics or anybody into the superhero genre.
Hi, I'm Marin from Chanhassen Library, and I am going to share 3 different fantasy titles with you. The first one is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. It features a very strong character named Adeline, and it is set in 2 different time periods, starting in 1714 France and also in 2014 in New York City. Adeline is from a very small village in France. That's where the story starts out. She's experienced a little bit of a life beyond her small village, and she feels like she doesn't ever want to be tied down or married. She'd like to go out and experience the world, but that is not the role of women at the time. And she ends up at 23, still not married. She's tried to refuse it as much as she can, but now she's entered into an arranged marriage. And the night before the wedding, she runs out in the middle of the night and she sends up a prayer to the old gods, asking for her freedom. And a mysterious stranger appears, and she makes a deal with him that he can take her soul as long as she has her freedom when she's done with her life. So we end up following her experiences. What happens is she's not able to be remembered by anyone. And so this gives her some opportunities to do some things where she can pass through the world unnoticed, but she can never have any permanent relationships. She's doomed to an eternity of anonymity. And until one day, she walks into a small hidden bookstore in New York, and someone finally recognizes her and remembers her name. And the story goes from there. The next book I want to talk about is another strong character. It is by Greta Kelly, and it's called The Frozen Crown. And it's actually a duology. This just came out. We have it on order. And it is about Askia. She is the princess of Saravesh. That's the kingdom that she rules. and she is facing a defeat by another kingdom. And she has to go through a lot of political machinations and taking risks, even to the point of having to enter into a romance with someone from the other kingdom. It's a bit of a Game of Thrones story, so if that sparks your interest at all, I think it's really going to be a cool duology, is what the author is calling it. She has this one and then another one that will be coming out in September. Then the other book I have to talk about follows up. It's being compared to The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. Just came out. It's called Ladies of the Secret Circus by Constance Sayers. And this one is set in 1924 Paris, and again in two different time periods. In 2004, when the main character is set to be married, and her groom mysteriously disappears. She finds a diary from her grandmother about the secret circus, and she travels to Paris to find out more about what happened and what happened to her groom, and stumbles upon a world of magic and the women of the secret circus. I'm very excited to read it. I Get Your Name on the list. These two, the Frozen Crown and Ladies of the Secret Circus, are still on order, but you can get yourself on the list. There is a waiting list for The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. It's been out for a little while, and it's really a hot title. So enjoy. I hope you found something interesting to check out here. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Bridget here from Carver County Library, talking today about science fiction and fantasy, two of my favorite genres in reading. Nice brain candy to get us out of the mundane life-to-life things and give us a little taste of different realms and different experiences and different adventures. Our first book I'm doing today is a sci-fi book called Ready Player One. I read this all and I thought it was very good, not overly long, a nice quick read, lots of adventure, about a world in the future that is built on artificial intelligence. In this future, America is in rough shape. People are poor. They count on this AI program called Oasis in order to do their educational needs and their social life, and just for overall well-being, because Earth is just such a trying place in this book that a lot of people like to escape into the Oasis. In the Oasis are their own sets of adventures and competitions where all these players are welcome to compete for a main prize. Please read Player One to know what that prize is. The movie I did not watch. I think it was pretty well received, but we do have Ready Player Two, so it must be pretty good, right? I have not read Ready Player Two, but as soon as it is in my hands, I will. The next genre is fantasy, which is my very fave. So I want to talk about the Wheel of Time series, and with the first book, Eye of the World. These are written by Robert Jordan, but the last few books end with Brandon Sanderson as the author. Robert Jordan left a lot of notes and an outline for Brandon Sanderson to follow after his death. So it was a sad kind of ending to this series, but Brandon Sanderson does an amazing job wrapping it up and gives a little bit of a different flavor. Not too much different, but enough that it still keeps you engaged through that last book. 14 of them, I read them, passed them down to my teenage son, and he read them and loved them all. 2 companion books and graphic novels follow this series. The graphic novels are great. The companion books I have not read, but my son is currently reading them. This is a lengthy read, so if you like a series that goes on for 14,000 pages, so you can see the development of the character from book 1 to the ending of that character, and all their changes throughout in book 14, then you will enjoy this. This is also a series that I'll read 4 books, stop for a while, read 4 more, stop for a while. these storylines are so solid that you're not going to be overly confused, and you'll be able to fall right into that pattern. So if you want a fantasy series which takes a long time to read and is very engulfing the entire time you read it, go ahead and try Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Thanks. Have a good day.
Hi, my name is Kathy Pershman, and I would like to tell you about a book I really liked that I just read. Science fiction and fantasy. It is the best American science fiction and fantasy for 2020, edited by none other than Diana Gabaldon. These are some great, great stories. My two favorites, however, are Between the Dark and the Dark, a sci-fi story in which crystalline blooms appear on Earth's surface and cause earthquakes and volcanoes and tornadoes and all kinds of horrors. And all the people that live on Earth have to try and flee it. Everyone else that hasn't fled has to either go live on Mars or the moon, and some of them live underground. So there's different ships with different kinds of propulsion systems have taken off for outer space, different ways of getting there. And one of the ships has a problem because they've seen, some of the stewards back on Earth have seen something that they think might be serious. And they're wondering if they shouldn't cancel the ship. And when I say cancel, I mean cancel. So it's pretty interesting to see the culture on the ship and how they're dealing with things like radiation and needing food and all the problems back on Earth, and how the stewards of all the ships and the bases try and have a democracy and figure out what to do with this problem. Another story I loved was by Charlie Jane Anders, The Bookstore at the End of America. It's very current, up to date. It looks at the American political divide through the eyes of a bookstore owner her store is right in the middle of the divide between America and California, between blue and red America. And this single mom and her daughter are dealing with the problems of trying to relate to both sides. And it's the mother, the bookstore owner, it isn't quite clear how she feels, but being somebody who reads a lot, you can guess that she probably leans a little bit towards the liberal side. But it's very, very interesting, very thought-provoking. I love both those stories. All of them are great. I really highly recommend this. It's good reading for this time, because if you don't like it, you can just go to another story. There's 20 in there, and you'll learn about some great new authors, I'm sure. Hi, this is Chen Hessen, retired librarian, Kathy Pershman. Today I'm talking about an interesting science fiction book called Road Out of Winter by Alison Stein. Stein lives in Appalachia, and she's the author of 5 books. This is, it's classified as science fiction fantasy, but it's more specifically climate fiction, or SciFi, because it has to do with changes in the climate. In this book, the main character, Willowdine, is 20. She's living in the country, growing marijuana for her mother and her mother's boyfriend. When winter never stops, spring doesn't come, nothing happens, nothing's growing, everything's freezing. Her parents leave, her mother and her boyfriend leave to go to California to try and find better weather, and they leave her alone there. Eventually, she gets a postcard from them saying, "Please join me." And she goes on the road, picking up interesting people along the way that she helps. She does have a specific talent. She can grow things in unusual circumstances, and she has a cache of seeds. So it's something, she is a talent that people are interested in. Library Journal describes this as blending rural thriller and speculative realism into a dystopian noir, dark novel. It's also compared to The Road, Station 11, and Winter's Bone. But it also is highly recommended for book clubs. It says there's a lot to discuss, and it's recommended for all collections. Here there's a celebration of humanity and a warning against its loss. I think you'll enjoy it. Road Out of Winter by Alison Stein.